going on, my friends? So today we're focusing on forearm balance. Forearm balance took me fucking years to actually do. It's so fucking hard. It's harder than a handstand. I could handstand before I could forearm. So be really patient with yourself. Take your time, and just know that this is really challenging. So again, take it one step at a time. Be really grateful and appreciate all the different steps that this journey is going to take you on. So we have a block, we have a strap. You can use them, you might not want to, up to you. So just like with a headstand, those three key elements are really fucking important. You want to create a strong, steady base. You want to create as much room between the shoulders and the earlobes as much as you can, really working to create that space. Even more important when you're in a forearm balance, because your head is not on the ground and you want to keep your head essentially up. And then when you start to progress in your forearm, you can start to dip your head underneath and shift your gaze. So you really want to create as much space as you can from the mat to your face so you can actually get your head under. And then 3 is keep the body really strong, really engaged as you're starting to navigate everything through. So I will show you with a block first, and I'll show you with a strap too. The strap can kind of get in the way sometimes. So it's up to you, but the block is really helpful. It's also nice and helpful because you can kind of knock your head onto it if you feel your shoulders start to collapse and pop yourself back up. Not the best idea, but it's there, and it helped me when I first started practicing. So I'll show you kind of like the physical setup of the body, and then we'll start to work with blocks, props, and then actually moving through a forearm balance. So just like with headstand, you want to kind of measure out your shoulders. So you want to measure out those shoulders, place the elbows down, and create your base. So I like to forearm with my hands kind of in a prayer, and then I love you. Bring them down. Your forearms, when they come down, are going to be really close together. When you start to apply pressure, they're going to go out anyways, just a little bit. But like I said, creating that really strong base is important, because if you bring your elbows out far, you are not able to engage your shoulders as much as you possibly could and create the space that you need for your neck and for your head. And there's more likelihood you're most likely dumping into your lower back because you're not engaging your shoulders and creating that space. So you're gonna see that kind of rounding, the legs going back, the lower back dumping out, and it's more likely that you're gonna fall over. So when I come into my forearm, I bring my hands down after I measure out my shoulders, and I make that prayer, I love you, come down, and I come into my dolphin pose. So this is dolphin. It's just kind of a navigation from downward facing dog. And again, walking those feet in as much as you can. I want to stack my hips over my shoulders as I start to move forward. I lift one leg up. Maybe I just stay here. Maybe I shift forward. And you see I'm pressing my forearms into the ground. This is really, really fucking hard. So be easy on yourself when you start to practice this. I just made it look really easy, but that's like 4 years after I started. So with the block, you want to place your block down, and your hands are going to go to the sides of the block just like this. So you're giving your shoulders more opportunity to engage when you do it this way. I oftentimes will kind of interlace my hands and place them down. It pushes more strength into the hands, but it doesn't allow as much mobility in the shoulders. So when I come down, I have my block. I frame out my block with my hands. I come up. I walk my feet in as much as I can. One leg lifts, and maybe I just kind of play here for a little bit, kicking up the opposite leg. And then maybe I find some hang time. You can see a rounding in my lower back Once you have that, and once you can kind of see that, just press into your forearms, pull your shoulders away, and that rounding is gonna start to kind of navigate its way out as you find that strength from your foundation all the way up to the legs. So here I am, walking my feet in, my hands are framing out my block, leg lifts, popping up, press, and pull away. So that's kind of one way to do it. And those little kick-ups are fantastic to keep working on and keep building that shoulder strength, because you need your shoulders to be really strong. But you also need them to be like weirdly fucking flexible, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So I'll show you kind of, once you have that hang time, ways to stay up. So I walk my feet in, I pop up, maybe I find a bend. Keep your legs stacked. As you start to work your strength, they're going to counterbalance themselves. So you're not going to fall forward, you're not going to fall backwards. It's going to give you more opportunity to kind of stay up. So that's working with a block. Super, super helpful. Like I said, if you start to kind of fall out, it's there. Oh, I can kind of use it to help me balance myself back up just for a moment. If you have that engagement in the arms. With a strap, so just like with your tripod headstand, the strap is going to keep everything in that center line to create the strongest base that you can for yourself. So your arms are exactly where they need to be. Whatever you want to do with those hands, I said I like them like this. And then maybe hops up. The strap literally forces your arms from splaying out, engaging everything. So you kind of don't even really need to engage as much. So it's a nice little tool when you start to kind of work postures like this and you know, forearm handstand. So same thing. You really want to stretch out the hamstrings, so you can walk your feet in as much as you can. And we're trying to create one really strong line of energy. So your base and your shoulders, that engagement, hips right over the shoulders. And then once those legs start to come up, pointing or flexing the feet, keeping them as engaged as you possibly can. So once you start to kind of move yourself through these poses, like I said, I kind of like my hands like this. I come up. I really stress using the strength your body has. So walk in as much as you can. Use that core, use your arms. Maybe stay here. Maybe come all the way up. As you can see, I was pressing my forearms down. My shoulders were engaged. My core was engaged. I was gently tucking my pelvis in. My hips were in line with my shoulders, and my legs were squeezing together and pointing upwards. It's really important. The more engagement your body has, the lighter it's going to be, the more able you're going to keep those legs up once you get them up. So, like I said, forearms fucking hard. Just take your time with it. Once you start to get your forearm balance, you can start to navigate into shifting your head underneath. If you go and check out Abby's Instagram, Mighty Yogini, she's kind of the one that got me really to get my head down. So check her out, check out other resources. I'm still trying to work this. I'm really afraid, so I kind of limit my own self when I do stuff like this. But just again, it's kind of your own practice. You make it what you want it to be. You get it to where you want it to be. You bring it to where you want it to be. So once you get your little forearm down, and here, I come up. I like to tuck my knees in,
Hips out, find a little bit of a round in the lower back. Pull your heart forward. Here we are.
Like I said, it's hard. So that is something where you really want to be mindful about the space that you're creating for your shoulders. So like I said, we kind of want everything in like one line of energy with the shoulders. So if we're out here, you can kind of see, I don't have the ability to open up my shoulders as much as I would if I was kind of in line with everything. Oops. Now I have more opportunity to press and lift my head away. You're gonna create even more space once you bring those hands together. You'll notice, if you just watch my arms, here I am, now here I am. So there's more mobility for the upper arms, the upper back, and the shoulders. So when I'm here, I kind of create my little prayer hands. I come up, press into those forearms, open up through the shoulders. That gaze is slightly out in front of you, and you can kind of make your way up. The gaze is really important. Keep it out in front of you. So try not to be like this. It's not a headstand, it's a forearm balance. So your gaze is going to go where you want your body to kind of go. So I want my body to go forward. My gaze is going to be forward. So I look up. Whoop. As you can see, I'm dumping into my lower back. I press into my palms. Oh. That dumping kind of comes out. That also brings me to falling out of a forearm balance. Whichever, if you're left-handed, right-handed, kind of fall in just that direction. If I come up and I notice myself falling out, it's more just falling to one side. Once you fall like that first time, you'll be like, oh, I got this. Again, have fun. Poses like forearm are really hard, so be patient with it. Take your time. Take it as steps. Don't try to fling your legs up all at once. You're gonna flip over, you're gonna fall over, you're gonna hurt yourself. The hop ups are key to building your shoulder strength. So as much as you can, even if you're in your regular dolphin pose, each hand, boop, boop, boop. Maybe switch sides. Boop, boop. Try not to shift your shoulders too far over your elbows. So you kind of want to make sure that everything right there is in line. So instead of coming, forward like this, we want to keep it back. So everything is in line. Elbows, shoulders, hips. Forearm is just a much more difficult pose. It was hard for me. It's hard for me to kind of even talk about. But if you do have any questions, comments, concerns at all, I feel free to ask me whatever you want. I'll try to help as much as I can. Just live it.